What's up, guy? What is up, guy? Welcome back to what Josue has to say. If you're new here, I am Josue, and this is what I have to say. Before we kick off this episode, I want to remind you guys to please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the things, as it does help out the community, the creators, myself, and the podcast itself expand. Today's episode, we got a former mayoral, I don't know how to say that word, bro. Miami-Dade level education. Mayor
City of Miami mayoral election runner-up.
There you go, runner-up.
Runner-up, and yeah, that's important.
Runner-up and current commissioner hopeful for District Number 2.
Candidate for commission.
Candidate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Max Martinez.
Max Martinez, that's me. What's up?
Welcome on the pod, buddy.
Dude, I'm so happy to be here, especially after watching your content for almost a year now. It's been incredible to see you grow the way you have, and it's inspiring, so thanks for having me.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for the lube up. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. No, for real, though. Didn't I hit you up saying that?
Nah, you did.
I did.
You've been following me for a while, and we've been following each other for a while, and I appreciate that.
No,
Thanks.
Facts. You got to support your own.
So, Max, where do I begin?
Where do you begin?
Where do I begin? I guess give me a little bit of background. We're both Miami boys. We're both from different sides of the railroad tracks.
We are from very different
Tell
sides.
me a little bit about your background.
Well, first of all, where do I sound like I'm from? Like maybe Ohio, like
Idaho.
Pero hablo español perfectamente.
Wow.
So my dad is an immigrant from Madrid.
This is the type of person that you like talk shit about in Spanish, and then you just don't know like they speak Spanish.
Which is why I am an incredible candidate for this commission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice plug.
But anyways, it's one of those things. My dad is an immigrant from Madrid. My mom is a white woman from Staten Island, New York.
Wow.
Talk about two different worlds. They were born on the same day of the same year, and they moved down to Miami in 1988. And my first memory...
From Spain?
No, from New York,
okay.
when my dad immigrated over.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I was born Tiger Tail Avenue, Coconut Grove. Tiger Tail Avenue, like the iconic Tiger Tail Avenue. My first home in life and my first memory in life was Hurricane Andrew. Do you remember what year were you born?
90. So I was.
Oh, so you're okay.
I was about to be 2. I wasn't 2 yet.
Do you remember anything about Hurricane Andrew?
Yeah, it's funny because I was like 1.5, but I remember being in my uncle's house, like hiding in a bedroom somewhere or something like that.
So that right there is just one of those things that you never ever forget.
Crazy, right?
It's like you never forget that when you see it because it's so surreal. But anyways, Coconut Grove. Then I moved to Coral Gables when I was 3. Went to St. Stephen's and drove down Grand Avenue every day. I was privileged, in terms of money, was not an issue for my family. My dad had a good job. I got to play every sport that I wanted, and sports were my avenue to connect with anyone. I believed in competing. So the way I made a name for myself was dedicating myself to basketball and all this, and that got me into sneakers and the whole so it made me better, understand movements and stuff like that. But as I got older and I went to Ransom, which is a predominantly Jewish school. So I just went from a mainly white Episcopal school.
Are you? Your background Jewish or?
No.
No.
But I went from a predominantly Episcopalian school, whatever that means in terms of religion, I just, not to be disrespectful. But to go from that to an all-Jewish school,
it's a big flip, yeah.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting.
And the culture itself is different.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm still in Coconut Grove.
Mm-hmm.
From 7th to 9th for Ransom Middle and 1 year of Ransom High School. But I had switched to tennis because I saw more potential in my future to play professional tennis. I wanted to be a professional athlete at all costs. So when I wasn't allowed to leave Miami to go to a training academy, I said, man, what sport am I going to take to get to college? I'm a fantastic athlete. I'm going to use this to get to college. Which one's it going to be? I chose football. So I never played it before, but all it took was raw talent, running, catching, just easy stuff. And I looked at Belen Jesuit and saw that they were sending guys to the Ivy League and all these great schools. And I didn't know anything about Belen Jesuit.
Are you going to bring up the elephant in the room, or am I?
What? What elephant in the room?
Castro and Belen.
So that I didn't know all that going into it. I didn't go. I'm not. When I tell people I graduated from Belen, they look at me in a way, but it's like I wasn't fully accepted. And
I mean, a bunch of Cuban kids go to Belen. Like it's not. I don't think it's that big a deal, to be honest.
So 4 out of the last 6 Miami mayors, 3 out of the last 6.
Yeah, Suarez went there too, right?
For a little while, and then went to LaSalle, I believe. But anyways, it's a very politically heavy school. It has a lot of political roots here in Miami.
It breeds politicians.
It breeds politicians, and honestly, when I was there, I had never been so culture shocked ever. And when it comes to Cuba and Miami, I was truly introduced to it my very first day. And I started to understand the complexities and the nuances of everything, and, understand all the suffering that people have been through and how it's carried over into the United States, and how it plays such a role now in like the decisions that are made, but both to influence people and, to victimize. It's one of those things where right now I feel like that's a big thing that's going on within the city of Miami's government, in terms of power and them trying to take over, but they're trying to take over for different reasons. And
when you say they,
I say they because, let's just say they all agreed that they didn't all agree that someone should be appointed. But,
But we're talking about the commission.
Yeah, we're talking about the commission.
For people that obviously don't know exactly what you're referring to.
Oh, so what I'm referring to is the special election that has been decided to be held on Monday. Monday, the most convenient of days, bro. Monday, February 27th, like the shortest month of the year. Like Monday, February 27th.
What do you think? What's the
So,
what's the end game, Max?
Dude, we're 24 days out. We're ready to go. We're, just kind of re-navigating the landscape after 2021, which was a crazy year. But yeah, man, the Cuban culture to me is something special and one that we have to preserve in Miami. And it's honestly one of the things that I feel like right now, this government is somewhat using that still, that leverage to, make people feel victimized. And the truth is what you see every day when you open your door is your everyday reality. Like whether you voted for Ron DeSantis or Joe Biden, they had no influence whatsoever on what you look outside of and see that day. That was whoever planned that within the municipal government.
Well, that's why they say local elections are the most important, right? Because it's your reality.
But here we are, another off-cycle election year, another awkward date, just another to throw that into the mix now. Like the way the government operates in the city of Miami, I mean, I believe that elections should be moved to election years so that it would be fair.
It makes sense, right? Like,
yeah.
Why would you have it off cycle?
Because right now I've run in 2021 and 2023, and it's been tough to get people to support you. Everyone's just finished with the political move.
So you're saying this is kind of just like, a move to retain power, to get people not to vote, to not pay attention, and then people just don't show up because it's not election year.
Look at voter turnout. It says it all. It says it all. It says it all, and that's why this one has to be different, because this is a district of 60,000 residents.
Wow, really? In District 2?
Yeah, man. 46,000 apartments and 16,000 single family.
So before we continue, there's probably people that don't even know their district, or there's people that want to know what district. What is District 2?
So District 2 is humongous. It's humongous, and it's all the way down from Douglas and Grand Avenue, and all the way through Coconut Grove, down to South Bayshore, but it goes.
So Gables, Coconut Grove.
No, not Gables. Gables isn't part of the city of Miami. It's Coconut.
Oh, right. Gables is a city, right?
It's It's Coconut Grove, Brickell.
Okay.
Brickell Key, downtown, Omni, Edgewater, Morningside,
Gotcha.
Virginia Key. So you are in charge of a lot.
That is a lot.
And Morningside Park is Right now, all their neighbors associations are fighting with each other. Like, these are people who need someone that is full-time focused, and the seat that I would be taking is of Ken Russell's. And
That was my next question, yeah.
yeah, and I ask away.
No, it was whose seat are you taking?
Yeah,
I know
no.
he was making his run for Senate or Congress or something.
Yeah,
Did he
so-
get that? I didn't.
So
stay.
Ken Russell is moderating a Sierra Club panel on Super Bowl Sunday at 6:30 p.m. at Coral Gables Congressional Church, and he already endorsed one of the candidates that I'm going against, and he's moderating it. Do you understand like how wrong that is? Like, to begin with, like, how's that fair?
Well, the funny part is that he's always crying about the other commissioners and how they run their game, and then he's out here like.
And then, like, look what he did with the soccer stadium. He was the deciding swing vote in the soccer stadium. And I'm not going to go and call anyone nicknames. I don't like to use nicknames, but he really ran on an environmental platform, and to rip up the only public golf course in the city of Miami and replace it with an MLS stadium that's going to use 18 games a year and put it right next to the damn airport sounds like an only in Miami problem waiting to happen.
Well, it's money, right? How Miami does this.
But now we're letting it happen for the third time.
People don't get involved.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I'm trying to get people to get out and vote.
So I want to touch on the stadium thing a little later on. But
Yeah.
speaking of stadiums and arenas, I know you're a big Heat fan.
Huge Heat fan, and it would be an honor to represent the district that has the arena in it.
So speaking of the arena, how do you feel about the FTX scandal that we're just witnessing?
For people who don't know, I came up runner-up to Francis Suarez. I worked my ass off for 343 days, didn't get recognition, there was none of this attention like there is now, whatever.
Actually, before we dive into the FTX, tell us a little bit more about your candidacy for mayor.
So
And-
I was really activated by 2020. I like that year changed all of our lives, right? We really did introspection and said, what are we going to do with the rest of our lives? Like, it was a moment that stopped us. Like, you either said, I'm going to do it, or you sat there watching everyone else do it, whether it was crypto, whether it was whatever. My goal was to become the mayor of the city of Miami and change that complacent culture of nepotism and the stuff that goes on. And what Art Acevedo got fired for saying is what I just call the Miami Matrix. It's the Miami Matrix because it's so intertangled and webbed between media and just government and money and developers. There's so many things coming at you that to withstand that barrage for 343 days and try to process it at like such a young age. Like, I lost at 30. I'm 31 now. I ran for mayor because the numbers told me that I could win. 21,872 votes is what he won on in 2017, and one of his second place was passed away. Third place had the same exact number as second place. Like, to me, it smelled whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
he had the last
same
he had the
exact
last
number. No. Like, put it this way: the same person who funded those candidates last time funded ghost candidates in my campaign as well.
Oh.
Like, no one could see a picture of Anthony Melvin Dutroux anywhere. There was no
one Googled him, Facebooked him.
Literally on Ballotpedia, he didn't respond to anything. On the City of Miami clerk's office stuff, there was just no photo ID of him. There was absolutely nothing in the
How
world.
do people get away with that?
So it's one of those things
there's
that
no integrity in
I'm only going to
people
use the
overseeing
initials.
things?
I'm just going to use the initials FG. Was the sole contributor and donor to both of these Socialist Workers Party, aka the enemy, campaigns.
Right.
And I just knew that was coming, but I didn't expect an ineligible candidate to come in. I didn't expect a crazy police officer, not crazy, but an intense police officer who gets arrested in the middle of the campaign to jump into the race, Frank Pichel. Like, it was this woman, Marie. She's a college student. She jumped in the race. Like, none of these people suffered through what I had to suffer through because of my opponent connecting himself to Bitcoin at the best time possible. That was his issue.
That's what politicians do.
That was his issue, and he got his moment. That's fine. But my original strategy was to take the vote and really blast it. Say, look, there's no such thing as an heir in a democracy, and we need to prove it by showing that the winner should have more than 21,782 votes. And I set up my campaign. I ran every single aspect down to the financials the same way I am now, because the only way that this city is ever going to become clean, ethical, and very much respectable to other people when they come here, especially, is leadership and coordination. There's just no coordination now. It's just you always expect chaos. We really need stability at this moment, and we're just getting instability one day after another. You haven't heard from the mayor in months because things have gone terribly. And the one thing that I'm really proud of is I never once reacted to the loss and said, I told you so, to anyone. I never, ever did it. Like, I humbly took it as, okay, a lot more people were out to get me than I thought. Like,
I mean, you don't want to come off petty either to, the public or whoever else around you.
No, and that's why I emphasize runner-up now, because I got all those other sham candidates, ineligible candidates, ghost candidates. I got more than all of them combined. Like, I made a movement within COVID. I had to knock on doors, go to a million Zooms, build a year's worth of relationships real quick because I smelled something funny. And literally 2 weeks after I filed my campaign papers in November 19th, 2020, 2 weeks later, I believe December 4th, the tweet came, hey, what about let's move Silicon Valley to Miami? And
how can I help?
No, and that was the beginning of his campaign. But I was in the race already. For 2 weeks, I had my bank account ready. I had my website ready. I'm just like, okay, you know what? This is going to be more David and Goliath than I thought. And you know what? It ended up being, but I learned from it, and I turned losses into lessons. And
yeah, it's the only way.
Here I am fighting again, 15 months later. You feel like a boxer. We were talking about boxing on the walk in here. Like, I'm coming in this. Grassroots, 45 days notice, boom, produce a campaign. Okay.
Yeah, you do what you got to do.
But that's what a person who wants to manage Coconut Grove to Morningside needs to react like. That you can't just be like, oh, yeah, climate change, blah, blah, blah. Like,
you can't be Ken Russell.
No, but you can't be like no, but you just have to be very attentive. You can't have special interests, which is why I believe that a grassroots candidate.
And you're in the wrong commission.
No, but that's so. Why do you think they don't want me there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
you disturb the order of things,
dude. That's the worst part about it.
But you know what? On the flip side, and I'm kind of a little bit all over here, but there's a lot of people that like the way things are run because it keeps out socialists and communism. And those are a lot of your constituents or people around in the city of Miami. They'd rather that than someone like Art Acevedo, who brings in Austin type of culture. And so what do you say to that? Constituents too.
But that's not District 2. That's not District 2. Coconut.
Right, but had you been mayor...
Well, had I been mayor...
Then those are your constituents.
Oh, of course. And look, it's not a Republican or Democrat thing on a municipal level. It's a practical and diplomatic, situation.
But people tend to lean certain ways.
You can lean certain ways, but you have to do the right thing for your community. There's a right and a wrong way to do things. Yeah. It's just there's right and wrong things to do. Like, do you tear down parks? No, you don't do those kinds of things. Do you shut down restaurants? No. Do you like, what does that sound like to you? Because to me, that doesn't sound like democracy.
It's a mini dictatorship, yeah.
I mean, hey, I didn't want to be the one to say it. You know, it's and that is what I want to bring transparency to here is we need to know where the money of this city's going because we have real issues at hand when it comes to flooding, when it comes to mitigating the climate crisis. And look, as a right-leaning talk show, I'm not going to, but you guys have seen Brickell. You've seen Edgewater, you've seen South Bayshore Drive. Like, it's unlivable, like, already sometimes. Now go back to that Hurricane Andrew. And think about how catastrophic that was and how long it took us to rebuild. Now you see, like, why one storm could, like, be, like, a game changer. And I don't mean to strike fear into people, but I mean in terms of sidewalks and stuff like that, like, it's the cost that it takes to rebuild it and the fact that we move so slow to begin with. We are in 2023 and we're more car heavy than ever. So the only way to make better traffic is to either lessen vehicles or improve
public transportation.
Exactly. And like this city commission, they banned scooters in District 2. Like, why are they making the decisions?
Why? I mean, there has to be some reason.
Because it's a safety hazard.
Oh. Wow.
It was Commissioner de la Portilla.
Yeah. He's District 1, right?
Yeah, he's District 1, but it's one of those things where why does he have such a grudge? No, but this leads to a bigger point. I knew you were going to touch on Virginia Key. Why is everyone touching on District 2's? I was going to say shit, but here I just said it anyways.
I mean, you could say whatever.
Yeah, but, you know, I've done a good job this cycle of not using one bad word, and that was the first one. Because
it's my energy. It brings it out of you.
Dude, I wish you would be talking more and not me, but one thing does really lead to another in this story that, you know, I just nuances and, like, it's just genuine belief that when I went to Belen Jesuit,
mm-hmm.
I broke Michael Vick's Nike Combine all-time spark record, which is just a number. But for 1 second in the world, before social media was huge, before everything, like, I was number one in the world at something. And when they interviewed me after, like, I was like, holy crap, like, the plan of leaving to Belen and never playing, you did it.
That was pretty wild, yeah.
You spoke it into existence. 2 weeks after that, I broke my back.
Wow.
Yeah.
How?
Dude, one of the I don't want to get into the let's just say weightlifting.
Okay.
Anyways, so that was my huge moment of, like, rising up and realizing no one can outwork me. Like, I was the 5'10" white Hispanic kid from Miami that was there with the Ohio State recruits, Deron Carter, Chris Carter's son, and Kayvon Webster, a Super Bowl champion. And I had the highest score in combined 40, shuttle, vertical, and Powerball toss. The Powerball toss was the new one, and I had been training for it. So there's this YouTube video, and they interview me, and they ask me what my name is. And I'm like, Max Martinez, Belen Jesuit. Max Martinez. So every time people who don't know me before, but they know me from football world, introduce me.
In that manner.
I'm Max Martinez, ambassador of Belen Jesuit. And it's like, they definitely do not see me as that way. But the one coach that gave me the opportunity, that guy, Coach Stewart, all-time winningest coach in Miami-Dade County history, by the way. Like, that's not a lie. He really is.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he is. And he took care of me. Dude, I couldn't come back until 4 games left in my senior season. And I was committed to Princeton. They dropped the offer. Duke stopped looking at me. Cornell stuck with me, and I ended up going there. And that was my route eventually outside of Miami. That's how I gained perspective in the world.
The Miami bubble is real, bro.
So I went
It's a different world out there.
So I went from Episcopalian white school to Jewish school to very, very Jesuit Catholic school to an Ivy League school. it's like culture.
Different worlds.
They're all just different worlds for
planets,
me.
yeah.
And, you know, Cornell, like, it was just hard. Majored in government. Didn't know why. Never planned on being a lawyer. And, you know, things just happened to, like, work out like that. Like, I couldn't transfer out of the arts and sciences school. So I stuck with government. I didn't have, like, the best grades or anything, but I have a Cornell degree for it. So at 14, I do believe that I made the right choice. But how that connects into my adulthood is, like, a lot of the people I'm fighting, like, against right now, like, are people that technically would be supporting me if I was one of their own. And determining what their...
It's the Game of Thrones, baby.
Hey.
Come on.
Hey.
Let's circle back to the FTX scandal. What are your thoughts on how that was managed?
Well...
And also, what would you have done differently had you been mayor?
Okay, I just would never sign a deal with such a new company in such an unknown industry. That's just reckless, okay? Like, I mean, Staples Center is no longer Staples Center. It's Crypto.com Arena. Like, It's different. Like, things are changing everywhere, but they didn't choose FTX. And somehow everything certain people touch down here turns to just complete crap. Like, it's just been the story of every single thing they touch.
It's to make a quick buck usually. Those things are not sustainable.
Well, it's the type of people you associate yourself with. And if you continue to associate with these types of people and these types of faces and these types of deals and these last names, you know, and then elect them, you are never going to see any change or progress. And we need to do our best to keep things in check in terms of, you know, what progress has Miami, the city, made, really, like, in a long time? Like, what do you consider progress? And I don't mean to take it from, like, such a serious, like...
No, it's true. I mean, aside from the big boom that we have, we can't claim anything. Like, with New Yorkers moving down, Californians moving here, that's all we can fucking say. Like, what else can we actually say Miami has done?
And the industry's an imaginary coin.
Yeah.
Like, does that not sound like
yeah,
I mean,
a whole episode about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, with everything you experienced, why'd you come back?
I came back because I lived in Madrid, and I realized that I lived in San Francisco, where I founded a startup and worked for Instagram for a little while on the verification badge. Then I went and worked for a guy in New York who was my best friend growing up's dad. And he hired me to be the manager of venture capital at this firm. Bro, this guy is also the guy that donated $100,000 to Francis's PAC on my birthday during the election. It was so... Dude.
Like, una limpieza, like some shit.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But anyways, then I went to Madrid for a little while. And I moved back. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I've been targeted. And I'm just saying that because, like, I've seen the way that this quote-unquote Miami Matrix, like, truly operates. Like, I don't know where the draining money is going, like, really. Like, it's hard. They're telling you they're putting it into these projects, and the climate resiliency team and all these people are working so hard to do their jobs, but, like, do you see these 5 guys right now? I mean, and Christine, or whoever's elected, excuse me, just sitting in there talking about, like, yo, what happens if Brickell gets overflowed? Like...
Yeah, I can't picture
that's my point. And someone actually does need to, like, actually care about that, like, and really, like, kind of, like, show tangible evidence. Hey, I did something to stop all of this. And that's why I don't look at any of my other opponents as equal. I suffered when you sat through comfort to earn a leadership position in this city. There is no way I am ever going to look at you as my equal, because you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've seen.
Oh, but you can't go in there, like,
I don't,
antagonizing them either, because that's not going to get you anywhere.
But I'm just saying, like, in terms of understanding every issue, from Morningside to Coconut Grove and recent experience, like I can tell you what the drama's going on in every neighborhood. Like no other candidate can do that. I've just recently experienced it 15 months ago because I was running a citywide election. I got 1,260 votes in District 2. You know, that's what a lot of people are considering a target win number in this election. So, you know, take it for what it is. I feel like I've been disrespected in terms of like the way the Herald writes about it. And I declined my invitation to the Herald op-ed forum. I am going with the alternative.
Well, they're a little. You know,
I'm going.
They're a little.
That's but that's literally why I'm saying I'm not with that establishment. I'm not going to let you take two hours out of my day to just not do anything for me. Once they've done it to you and you learn from it, like the second time around, you can't repeat that mistake. And last year, I was the only one that showed up to the interview, basically, and he
fool me once, fool me twice, right?
I'm just like, yeah, like I know you're not on my team. It's all good. So, yeah, what's up to the Miami Herald? What's up to the Miami Herald and the editorial board? I don't know why you guys have such a grudge with me, but thing is, it goes higher. I'm just going to get real with you right now. I'm just about to get really real with you.
Let's do it.
Miami Herald. Francis Suarez is sitting courtside seats at the, remember in the playoffs?
I've seen,
yeah, you remember that.
I remember that.
So he was with Jamal Mashburn. That's the regional manager for the McClatchy Company.
Which owns Miami Herald, yeah.
If you own the media, you own the reality. You know, here I am, you know, sounding like Andrew Tate, you know, telling you that people with money and media and influence, they will do anything they can to stop you anyway. And I lost 2,000 followers. I could not get a single tweet retweeted by a single person. I'm a registered Democrat. It was my first time running. Kind of thought they would endorse me after all this hard work of almost knocking on almost 80,000 doors. Like in terms of talking to people, just they didn't endorse me, and that's when I realized, like, holy shit, like this.
Well, they say the game is rigged, right? Maybe there's some truth to that.
But the thing is
not conspiracy.
The game is rigged, but it's just another sport. You just have to understand the rules and learn how to play it. And you can play it with your own style, your own flair, your own twist, as long as you get the job done and you get the priorities taken care of.
I mean, dude, if you're the one to break the wheel, like my tip of the hat to you, you know what I mean? Because I even did an episode about some shit that was going on with the Miami-Dade public school system and kids. And the superintendent at the time was fucking the journalist that was covering education for the Miami Herald. So that's not a conflict of interest at all, but it was the way that, you know, the cookie crumbled.
It's
and
funny.
It's everywhere in the county, not even just the city.
I'm just gonna say I've heard similar. I've seen similar. I've seen similar, and it's, you know, it's a toxic culture that has really emanated amongst Miami because, like, the whole because Miami movement, like the.
Oh, we're getting into Billy now?
No, we're not going to we can get into Billy and whatever, but we can all admit that because Miami is just a truly defeated mentality. You believe that there is no reason.
It's the way that it is.
But they have indoctrinated you to feel that way by never ever. And
grift off of it.
Exactly. Like, it's terrible. It's so ugly. And, you know, the city needs a lot more transparency. So yeah, I forgot what the question was, but
no, but we went into good waters. So
okay, yeah, you splice it up. But I don't even know if I answered the FTX question, but I did. Yeah, I did.
You did.
I did.
Now that you brought up because Miami, I know you have a history with Corbin, which is
not a history.
Well,
it's not a history.
Sort of.
I was hoping Billy would
romantic dance.
No, I was just hoping Billy would like show kind of like, I thought the enemy of my, you know, the saying, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like
wrong.
Like media. I mean, like this is no disrespect, but 20% of Billy's like Instagram posts are, you know,
20%.
I'm saying.
I'd say a little more than 20.
Well, I'm just trying to be respectful.
I'm not.
You know, and I've worked so hard to say. Never say I told you so to anyone. And like to see when people benefit off that pain and it really is hurting residents. Like, dude, I was in the trenches. Like, I was in neighborhoods you'd never walk through. I just not in a violent way, not in anything. You just never heard of them. You have no idea they exist. Like, have you ever been to the Silver Court Trailer Park?
No.
Right there. It's right on the corner and the edge of Coral Gables and the city of Miami and Douglas, right where the auto dealerships are.
No.
There's a trailer park.
Really? Back there?
With 6 lanes.
Didn't even know that was there.
It's a little community, but they have no trees whatsoever. So they literally just got the hot side. It's right across the street from. So you know where it gets. You know how you can tell the difference between Miami and Coral Gables? The trees.
Oh yeah, fancy trees.
Right when those trees start.
It's city of Miami.
And it's trailer parks.
Yeah.
It goes from trailer parks to trees.
I'm surprised no one's trying to buy that land out and get those people out of there. Not, just because it happens, not because I'm trying to get them out of there.
And then
that's the culture.
They'll rename it Little Coral Gables. Yeah. Like that's what they'll do.
The PR spin.
I'm just saying it's the same repeating cycle.
It is the same repeating cycle. How do you feel about? I mean, we kind of already touched on it, but expand a little bit. You're going to be working, say when? Let's manifest this for you. Now,
February 28th, I'm ready to go, man.
You're sitting alongside these heavy hitters, right? Because they have a name for themselves. You got somebody nicknamed the Godfather.
Bro, someone that plays the Godfather theme music at the introduction of the...
No, they did not stop.
Yeah,
they do that?
He did that at the introduction.
Wait, he did that or someone did that?
Carollo
did that for himself?
Literally pulled out his phone for the new police chief swearing after our Acevedo got fired because of him. Like, that's the type of the type of character that I'm willing to go fight for the people of Miami with. And let me tell you, you're just welcoming a lot of like real anger and bullshit into your life, pretty much.
No, you're absolutely right.
Like, just straight up. Like, I honestly, until this special election happened, like, I was finally phasing. I had a book ready. I was phasing out of Miami politics, and now that last name's just a regular word in the day. Like, who did that? Carollo. Like, okay.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's a good commissioner because of the obvious. However, if this was like a movie type thing and you saw him like externally and you were not affected, I'd be like, that's a pretty based character because he does whatever the fuck he wants. He's like a villain type shit. You know what I mean?
You wanna hear something crazy?
But
no, go.
It's real life.
It is. It's totally
it's
real life. And you want to know how long it's been going on? He first became city manager in 1980.
No? Oh, 1979?
Just the fact that
I found an article from the 80s, and I was like, damn, this guy's been around since the 80s?
It's no joke. Like, it's no joke whatsoever. This guy he runs it. Like, look, we just need to come to a mutual ground, my man. I'm not trying to threaten like, just give me, like, I'm not going to spend money like Francis. Like, I'm trying to do that. Just trying to protect the richest and most tax-paying, highest insurance-paying residents of your city that you sold real estate to, that everyone sold real estate to.
They.
And like, when I say they, the government isn't supposed to be doing that, but that's what they did, and why we're in this debacle. These crises, multiple. Like, you can say, hey, what's your latest on the crises? And like, which one? The environmental, the traffic,
So what's your strategy with these guys? Like, what do you plan on, like, how are you going to push back?
I'm going to find opportunities that work for the both of us. Find PPPs that are going to invest in our communities, that are going to bring the best resources to the youth of each community. Like, we have empty baseball fields right now, but we have 100 tennis courts in the city of Miami. We have almost 80 basketball courts. Like, in District 2, there are none that are indoor. In the city of Miami, there's no indoor tennis whatsoever. Like, Jose Marti is an indoor gym, Viric's an indoor gym, but we need to weatherproof our city because we've been experiencing rain for 35% of the year forever since we've been here, and it's only gotten progressively worse. But every time it rains, we lose resources because it's not covered. Like, basketball courts going, only NBA player that we have is Udonis Haslem. That's it. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr., fine. Like, okay. Because, you know, he played at Palmetto, but he's Tim Hardaway's son at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, the Udonis, and that's now year 2021.
I didn't even know he grew up here. He grew up in Miami?
Yeah.
Oh.
And, yeah, he's from Liberty City. And, dude, that's why UD's such a legend, though. You know, that's why.
I know he's hella loved, and he's a great player, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we need to preserve that history. And what I want to do is I want to get, like, athletes to invest in community centers and stuff like that. Like, we need more than office and retail. Like, everyone's all about office, retail, and shopping. You know, it's
because
like,
it makes money.
Because it makes money, but it's why we're getting into a worse crisis every single day. Like, you build another apartment complex, I have no problem with your real estate development. But if you're going to have like a 400 apartment complex go up, there better not be 500 parking spots because, you know, traffic is bad as it is. You can't continue to expound on all this already terrible traffic and just add an influx of new cars that were never there before.
They can because it's somebody else's problem in a few years once you're out of there.
Well,
That's the mentality, man.
Well, so I call it the Brickell Bridge mentality. It's like
that makes sense.
The Brickell Bridge mentality is that you wait for the rich, and that's the way Miami approaches time. But we don't have time like that. Like, they need to be paying a toll. We need to be making money because you can't just ruin people's days, public transportation, and time like that. That's why you can always get away with being late in Miami. It's the most disrespectful thing. But the thing is everything's so poorly coordinated that traffic was bad. For me, on the way here today, traffic was perfect. I left so early, but traffic was still. I got here at 3:40.
Yeah.
You know.
The only person to ever get here on time. By the way.
But I could have easily been late and said traffic. Yeah, I could have easily been late and said traffic and you would have to believe me. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. But it's just never been good. And transportation.
It's also a good excuse for getting late to work. So.
It's an excuse for everything.
Yeah.
That's my whole issue, and they defer things. Like, why are we still going over Coconut Grove Playhouse? Why are we still going over Marine Stadium? Why are you trying to throw homeless people on Virginia Key? Like, why are you continuously attacking everything in District 2? Like, I need to go out there and protect District 2. Like, you already have left Grand Avenue desolate since before I was born. I want to bring storefronts there that cater to their needs and bring out the best in their talent and give them actual like opportunities. But you need someone who's going to go actively seek that out. And what I'm saying is I'm going to seek that out for my community, but I'm going to see if Commissioner Reyes would like one that fits within his, district.
What district is he again?
He's 4. Yeah, he's 4. When you answer so quickly, yeah, it's just one of those things that it's like the bar. Like, you do me a solid, I do you a solid. Like, something I wrote in a questionnaire, an idea that I came up with was Grove Central is this new complex that is going to be built by the Met. Do you know Grove Central is?
No.
So it's actually in District 4. It's on the other side of US 1, and we're as a county trying to move towards transit-oriented development to, use less cars. Like, not as many cars. We can't, afford to have as many cars. We, in District 2, are the crisis of it. We are the absolute crisis, and the bridge is that middle breaking gap of the city. It splits the city in half so far that you fill it up to Homestead, so far that you almost fill it up to Fort Lauderdale. I've just no other way. Yeah, it splits the city in half. And when you waste people's time like that, you just show complete lack of respect and lack of responsibility for the type of work that you're doing. And that's what I feel like needs to be changed and held accountable in this government. And I'm not going to go after the other commissioners. I'm going to work with them. I'm going to redefine what this job looks like because I'm not a real estate developer. Hey, I don't know, do I get a secretary? Okay, cool, you get one? You got a chief, whatever? Okay, I got one. I know who I'd pick, everything, I know all that stuff. Hey, schedule this meeting with these people and let's get this done. Let's get this done. There's one commission meeting a month. they schedule it on a week, like a Thursday morning, so that people don't go and restrict their voices. You know, they purposely, but that's what I'm saying. They're suffocating time. They suffocate time. That's what they're the masters of. They love to have you as the prisoner of the moment.
This is a really big uphill battle for you, my friend.
Yeah. This is. It is. It is. But, you know.
You're going to age like a leather bag in the next couple
years.
Dude,
yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I came to that conclusion the other day when I saw gray hair. I was like, damn, it's already really happening. It's really happening. I'm 30. Like, I got it from a little bit of my beard, but damn.
Wait till you seek re-election. You got to sun your balls, bro. That's how you stay young.
Dude, it's sun and balls, man. That's literally how I got into you. I found it so strange, but you made it a lifestyle. You made it a lifestyle.
Because it is, guys. Sun your balls.
Dude, sun
in every way, figuratively, metaphorically.
Yeah, man. Sun the balls of life, dude.
Before we run out of time, we have like 10, 15 minutes after. I want to touch on Virginia Key because I did an episode with Esther on that. And it's unfortunate, you know, what's happened. I post that I didn't keep up. The last thing I saw was that they removed the trust due to lack of correct management of funds or whatever. I don't know if that was true. I don't know what I lost track with that after. What are your thoughts on what happened and how's that gone now?
The way she was treated was terribly, and they just encroached on her business and destroyed it. It's a tactic that, you know,
like a ball and chain type of situation.
Yep, I didn't want to say it, but it's a tactic.
I mean, it's
a tactic that's been used, and we need mediators here. But here the issue is like, this is District 2. What's your issue? Or what are you doing? Like, why do you have so much authority towards making this decision? Like, this woman runs an outdoor center for a living. Now, I mean, I know what she's doing now, and, you know, she's been supportive towards helping me understand, like, her people. But it's heartbreaking to think that a government would take your beach away and throw a bunch of homeless people on it with no resources instead.
Sorry to interrupt you. The last I heard, that wasn't there. I mean, while they still control the area, they're not placing the homes there anymore, right? They're doing an unincorporated Miami-Dade, or is that still going through?
Everything's always up in the air with these people, right? Like, that's what I'm trying to get is absolute clarity. But the one thing I do know is that I will always vote no against any type of real estate development on Virginia Key, because if you destroy our water and you do anything to Virginia Key that is not natural, you already have, you know, the plant on there, you would be doing something catastrophic to Miami's economy. I mean, it's a disrespectful, racist taunt by a commissioner, and it's a deprivation of one of the city's most beautiful resources from its residents, all because someone has grudges. And they all happen in District 2. It's like District 2 needs a leader that can be everywhere and you know, protect the turf. It's happening in Morningside too, and they're knocking down things in the park. They're just knocking things down and moving one over. I
made a little clip explaining like the happenings on Instagram, and it made it on NBC. No big deal.
Oh, congrats.
But I'm just talking shit. It did though. And a piece of it was something that I found about Carollo. He was trying back in the 80s to develop in that area.
Yeah.
So it goes back to
and guess what?
4 decades ago. I don't even know where you were at.
Guess what? A lot of people don't know this. He's eligible for mayor in 2025.
No. You think he'll
I mean, I think one commissioner wants it, but I think another one wants it more. That's the way I see it right now.
I can see people voting for him, man.
No, but I can see 1v1, two of them. I'm not going to mention which two, but the only other one that sent holiday cards to everyone else in every other district. You know, I'm not going to say his name.
I don't know that deep into the
it's like
the drama within
the
walls.
that's how deep the drama is, though. I just talk about it casually.
Well, you know, in their defense, every institution in Miami is run like a high school, so that's just the culture everywhere, dude. You know, like not to exonerate them of, you know, being pieces of shit, but that's unfortunately that's just everywhere you go, man.
Absolutely, but you know you can't let you can't let the government bully people like
100%.
like that. Mr. Unvaccinated over here. How did you feel about being bullied by your government? This is next level bullying. These are human rights violations, like taking away parks to throw homeless people on them.
You're absolutely right.
Like I'm sorry, that just does not look good. And optics, like, dude, the Miami police car. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see that today?
That was a little
Like
much.
like to draw Africa on there.
What are your thoughts about that? Yeah, just tell me.
I mean, like, look,
And who has a directive over that?
I honestly have no idea who's the art director for my city of Miami police cars, but I know.
Yeah, but does that come like from a directive from the chief, or is it the mayor that has a suggestion? Like, I don't know.
Dude, that's a PR stunt, though. But it's just racially backwards. It's like not something that like you celebrate on a police car. You don't do that. You don't celebrate Black History Month by saying
it was a little ironic.
No, that's a message. That's how this city views minorities and poor people. Honestly, I'm dead serious. We live in a police state, which is a good and bad thing for many reasons, and we can debate that another time. But the rich people of District 2 love their police. So I don't talk about the way the police treat people over there, but I'm not going to get into that subject.
That's a heavy hitter. Yeah,
it's a heavy hitter.
We could talk about that for a whole hour.
But you know, like, I root for everybody black. Like I understand like it was a different struggle for you. You know, that's one thing that you just got to get. It's not Democrat. It's not Republican. Like, I don't think I've given you any liberal type answers or party leaning side answers.
You know where you're at.
Well, I'm just saying it's like one of those things you need to understand that it's just diplomat. It's just being a diplomat.
100%. If you're in any role where you're representing constituents, you need to represent their views, and whether they go against your views or with your views, you're there to represent them, right? What they want, what's best in their interests, and all that good stuff. So.
But that's where the media comes in, and this is why, you know, I asked you, hey, can I please be on your show? I need a voice. I've had it restricted before because once they do it once, they're gonna do it again. Yeah, this is why you decline the Herald and you come to what Josue has to say.
Hey,
that's gonna be the new move. You know, you want to get on the political map. First grassroots candidate to ever fucking get elected to the Miami City Commission. That would be the dopest thing ever. And I believe it because I'm going to speak it into existence. But, yeah, man, I just appreciate being here.
I love that. My last question for you before we wrap up. How are you going to prevent from being corrupted, guy?
Just look at my finances.
You'll be transparent.
Like, go look at my fundraising records. I think I raised $5,100 the first cycle with, like, $1,800 expend. I do my campaign finances. Like, I can't slip up.
Because you know what they say, like sometimes you go into politics, you know, with the right mind space, and then you just end up part of the
grassroots, though. But
how many people have started grassroots and they end up?
So this is a terrible comparison to make on the show, but how much does the Miami City Commission need like an AOC type of person, but to match those people's energy? Someone that will ruffle their feathers.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna say male because I'm not. but that is the culture you're dealing with at the same time, and I'm being respectful to everybody right now. But like I've shown you that I'll fight. Like you should have killed me. You should have killed me because
careful what you
because I get back up.
And then the Miami Herald is the one to report it.
The Miami Herald doesn't write it. The Miami Herald just doesn't write it, dude. The Miami Herald, oh my God, one of their bots, you know, mentions it in a little news headline. Like
terrible.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you get purchased by a huge hedge fund. You know, that's where your news comes from. Like people need to understand that your news.
They were going bankrupt though, and the vulture saw and they were like.
And they came in and.
You know, I actually at the time, quick anecdote, I worked for this company, and they moved into the Miami Herald building that's in Doral. So I worked from there for a few times a week. That building was, scraps. They used maybe a fourth, if that, of that entire huge facility, And I can tell that at some point that building had they had a breastfeeding room and like a spa room and like all these features. Like that at some point the building had just empty skeletons, like webs, and it's like, bro, this was prior to the McClatchy acquisition.
You see how it looks now? I don't know.
No, I don't know I don't know.
I just imagine they're on a work from home.
I left that place.
They're on a work from home basis now. Probably. Maybe. Like, why would you really go into the office anymore if you're a reporter? You know, that's I don't know. I don't have a good relationship with the Herald, so it's one of those things where do what you do, Herald. Keep doing you. Keep doing you.
Last thing, tell your constituents or anyone that can be involved when to vote. It's the 27th, but where to go, how to find where they need to go, how do you actually get them there?
Yeah, so if you go to my website, which is just maxformia.com, the first thing you'll see is request vote by mail. I suggest that just because a Monday and a 3-day early voting period
You're
before.
Losing the right wing.
No. I know. I get that. But look, so to the right wing people, like, I am fighting something that's bigger than partisan. I need to be calculated about how many votes I'm getting. Like, I need to know. Like, I can't personally like tell you I want a surprise at the end of the day. I need to know exactly who is going to. I make people take screenshots. Did you get the vote by mail? Did you get the vote by mail? Because this is a game of really close numbers, and there's
absolutely.
So it's one of those things that I just need to be confident in getting there and really pushing through. And if it doesn't work out, I just haven't thought about it in the past 15 days since this started, all 17, you know. But yeah, it's been a dream, dude. It's been crazy. It's been crazy, actually.
I bet it has.
Yeah, man. I got to be at my elementary school the other night with my mom, like 20 years later.
Damn, full circle.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, like, I'm meant for this shit. Like, I'm meant for this moment. But I just always wanted to be humble and, you know, really give back to a city that's always had a reputation of being incompetent, because that's not true. That's not true. It's that these people have been deprived of a lot here, even though they got, like, everyone will get mad because Cubans got immigration status, blah, blah, blah. But, like, trust me, even Cuban people down here, they didn't have the same, because the city of Miami's, like, resources and stuff, like, it's like you can do so much better of a job taking care of your people. Like, there aren't dog parks west of Biscayne Boulevard.
Some people just settle because they're scared to, you know.
It's a defeated mentality because Miami, right. You know, and that needs to be ended. And at least start the movement, you know.
So one more time, go to your website, request.
Sorry.
No, just
I got off track.
Mail in for those that don't want to mail in. Is there an
alternative? For those who don't want to mail in, you can go Friday through Sunday, February 25th through February 24th through February 26th at either the Lemon City branch, the Stephen P. Clark Government Center, or City Hall on a Monday. This is why I had to bring up vote by mail vote early, because it's on a Monday for a reason. They don't want you to make it, you know. So, like, make sure you get out there. Like, I love Republicans, man. I'm an independent person that's trying to do the absolute right thing for my hometown and the district I was born in, grew up in. It's like the writing's on the wall. Like, I'm speaking this into existence and going full force. And whatever happens, but it'll always happen for a reason.
Absolutely. And that's what we need. I think we need more people that are involved and actually care about their community or their country or whatnot, and actually do right by their constituents and by their land, right? Not by their self-interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Max, buddy, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me.
Sharing your story.
I really appreciate you.
And good luck, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, guys, that's all the time we got for today. As always, and as I said in the beginning of the podcast, please like, subscribe, share, do all the things. And that's all the time we got. So, as always, no se metan con nadie para que nadie se las meta. See you later.